Tori stayed up all night to watch the Oscars.
Start to finish, pre-show too.
Pre-show too. Man, you were dedicated.
You were into this, aren't you?
Yeah, and I kept telling my kids, you're going to have to go to bed early because I have to go to bed early. And they went to bed and I stayed up.
And got up at 3 o'clock in the morning still. Dedication to the Grandy.
There you go.
That's why, boy, she's been drinking the coffee, though, today.
Yes,
I've seen it.
Robert Davi joins us now. Hollywood actor, director, singer. You've seen him in movies such as Die Hard, my favorite, The Goonies, James Bond, License to Kill. Been on a number of shows and movies throughout his career. Watched the Oscars last night. Also has a new album covering Frank Sinatra songs we'll get to in a second. Robert, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Did you stay up to watch the Oscars, all of the show last night?
Well, I was there a little bit.
Oh, really?
I wasn't at the at the Kodak, but we were at the Beverly Hills Hotel at one of the parties there that stream it live.
And how was the party, more importantly than the show?
Others are all fun. You see a ton of people that that you hadn't seen, some of them that you hadn't seen over the, people you've worked with or hadn't worked with, and you schmooze, you network, and you tell a lot of fishing lie stories.
we have to honor this guy for getting up. What is it, 5:08 on the left coast? Thank you for doing that.
Oh, that's okay.
Were there any moments that caught you sort of rolled your eyes at? I mean, everybody looks at these things so closely and we dissect them. What about you?
No,
you just love it, right?
No. I mean, you watch them and you go, okay, that's another thing. I mean, look, I was at a dinner the night before that was an award show. That was the Medal of Honor dinner, and that to me is, so the awards, the Academy Awards are entertainment. I don't expect, you want to be entertained. You want to be, you of course can tease around and knock them, and you can have a horse in the race and all of that. But let's face it, it's not saving the world. It is bringing culture. and a film like The King's Speech, which I'm glad won.
Yes.
Is a film about a man who lost his voice in a country that didn't have a voice. You know what I mean? And during very difficult times, like we have today. I mean, you had this. If you haven't seen that film yet, The King's Speech, I think you should.
Yeah. Because
it deals with a country that's stuttering and a man who's a stutterer, but it's an emotional stuttering, and also a stuttering in terms of, you had Neville Chamberlain at the time that was stuttering along with Hitler, and in conflict with what Churchill wanted to do. So that it's kind of echoes what's happening in our world today.
Right.
So but that leads me to this question. Your ability to talk about anything going on in current events is exemplary. But you're an incredible singer, incredible actor, and you get involved in politics to a certain extent. What is harder, being a singer, being an actor, or being a conservative in Hollywood?
That's a great question.
That's easy. What do you think?
It's got to be the last one. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, listen, you may as well be, exiled to an island in Hawaii with Father Damien.
Were you surprised to see some of the shout-outs for unions last night in some of the acceptances?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
There were at least 2 or 3 that I counted.
There was a huge push, through SAG to support the unions, which is the actors union.
Right.
Do you mean you got emails and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh really? So It was that organized, huh?
Yep.
Well, when you were at the post-show parties, and you being a conservative in Hollywood, do you ever talk about politics? Do you talk about the politics of the show, of the award ceremony? Do you talk about the mention of the unions, or do you just keep your head low and just talk business?
It depends. I mean, sometimes it's not worth getting into a row about it. You know what I mean? And other times you might. And again, like if I'm at a card game with a bunch of celebrity friends, and we start talking politics, of course I'll throw in the hat. It's like at the awards last night. I'm not gonna, start moaning around, because then it's not that. It's not. Afterwards amongst certain little pockets of people, you can start to discuss. But it's not a thing where you go about and start trying to cause,
Do you think there was
shouting match?
Do you think there were any gross injustices from the winners? Anybody who didn't win that you thought deserved to win last night?
Everybody. They always said that the Brando was always, and George C. Scott, these great actors were always frustrated with the Oscars. You got to take them as they are. They're fun. They're an award show. And the best actor, one of the things you can always complain about is that how do we know this person's the best actor? You find out if you're the best actor, whatever it is, if 5 guys or 10 guys played the same character. And now that interpretation is judged. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it all depends on different. They're all at the top of their game, and it's a jockeying thing. It's for the most part, it's the cream rises.
All right, so you have a new album out covering Frank Sinatra.
Well, what do you guys think about it all? Did you like the Oscars?
We like it.
They didn't stay up, Robert. I was the only one who stayed up to
I'm
watch
sorry. I had the good common sense to actually go to sleep.
You mean the 2 Phils kept sleeping?
Exactly.
Well, we got to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I watched a little bit of it, Robert. I said...
Oh, will you stop?
Thank you.
Get up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
He does. He lives in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I said I saw enough when the pregame show, when one of the people who was commenting on what the actresses and actors were wearing said that she just talked to a stylist who said nipples were definitely going to be in this year. I said, well, I've heard enough, I've seen enough, and I'm ready to go to bed.
No,
when were they ever out?
I don't know, but I guess they're in now.
Apparently, because they're out, that's part of the problem.
That's right. I wanted to ask you about your album, and I'll play a little bit of it, covering Frank Sinatra songs.
Come fly with me, let's fly away.
All right, so you're a pretty good singer as well. I mean, Wilson over here thought that was actually Sinatra when he forgot it. Why did you want to do this album?
Well, first off, it'll be out in the late summer, and I'll hope to come back on when we release it. Really, Boutique Jazz label is going to be releasing it. I started out as a singer as a kid. I studied opera in Florence and sang at City Center and all that. But I did my first film with Frank Sinatra.
Really?
And yeah, in 1978, Contract on Cherry Street. I was a kid, and that music for me as an Italian American, and just as an American, that defines to me the Great American Songbook is the Shakespeare of America. It defines what the world loved about America. It defines what a certain value and a certain poetic sensibility, the music, the cultural exchange between blacks, Jews, Italians, that created that music in the Great American Songbook. So it's something that I want to bring across to the country. I've done 5 concerts so far called DAVI Sing Sinatra, a tribute to Sinatra, the Great American Songbook, and America. And through that journey in the show, not only musical, but anecdotal a little bit, where I talk about Sinatra being the first superstar or the first real important entertainer that fought against anti-Semitism and racial bigotry of all time. He was quite a political figure, even in the 40s. He went through a very interesting political odyssey, from being a Democrat and very close to Roosevelt, to, of course, as we know, becoming a conservative in the late 60s, and then throughout the rest of his life, and close to Reagan, and on and on. So there's a varied reason that I feel that the country needs to get back, and the youth needs to find. I did a film called Goonies.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I loved that movie growing up.
Yeah, and a lot of the kids like that film. So I want to be able to expose and bring this music to a lot of people. And again, my album's called DAVI Sing Sinatra on the Road to Romance. It's not an imitation of Sinatra.
Right. Well, it sounds great. It really does sound great. And thanks very much for coming on the show and staying up late or never going to bed. We
Get some rest.
Thank you, Robert.
The sun is not even up there yet.
Traffic and